Thank you for tuning in to Beacons in the 505. My name is Roger Gallegos. I am the founder and owner of Beacon Marketing. In this series, I am highlighting local businesses throughout the Albuquerque and central New Mexico area. I'm hoping to eventually get to all of New Mexico, but right now I just want to focus on all the good things that we're doing locally because even during the pandemic, Albuquerque and the businesses here in Albuquerque are doing everything we can to keep going and keep the economy going, keep our community going. We're going to do a lot longer after the pandemic. So this series is going to be highlighting what we're doing and how we're doing it. Today, I am talking to Ken Jackson of the KJ Effect. Ken, thank you so much for being with us today. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I tell everybody we're on the right side of the dirt, so we're all doing okay.
I love that. I like that, right side of the dirt. Well,
Yeah.
Ken, we're going to jump right into it. So, for people who are not familiar with you or the KJ Effect, why don't you explain what the KJ Effect is and specifically what do you do?
So for me, man, being from Albuquerque and growing up here, I began to notice that the mindset of Bootganians, I wanted to help with that type of mindset, being an entrepreneur here. So my mission is to inspire people to turn their dreams into achievements and to motivate them into action so they may realize their full potential on a personal and professional level. Now, my why is to help people find a better way to achieve their goals. And how I do that is by challenging the current mindset. And then what I contribute is business and life experiences to have a positive impact and to get people the results they want. So my mission and my why work together to help people, individuals, and organizations figure out what their goals are, point them in the right direction, and figure out an action plan to help them do that. So I really work with the mindset of people a lot is what I really do. So those individuals that may be at the point of where do I go from here, or I'm stuck, or I don't know what to do next, I start with why. And once we start there, that's our foundation, and then we move on from there.
I love it. One of the things I have my guests do on this is fill out a short survey, so I have kind of some background information on what they do, and for people to be perfectly upfront, you and I have worked together before. I did some work for you a couple years back, so I'm familiar with you a little bit, but it still helps to get some more information. And one of the things you put for your ideal clients, anyone who feels stuck. So that kind of stood out for me, and then you said it again here. What often leads to that feeling stuck or not knowing where to go? In your experience, what often leads to people feeling that kind of lethargic or stuck feeling?
A few different things, but what I've noticed is that we've been taught to work for someone our entire lives. And there's nothing wrong with that, but times are changing. They have been changing. They've been evolving, if you will. And through that evolution, those that still stay in the mindset of I'm searching for the one company that's going to provide everything and do everything I want, when they reach their end at that company, then the question is what now? Right? Where do I go from here? They've honestly been doing something that they've just been taught to do, not something they enjoy. So once they're done there, then they get in this habit of this is all I have, and then the mindset says this is all I am. And then when they find out, let's say, especially times like this, right? People are getting laid off, they're being pointed in other directions, and they don't know what else to do because they've been so used to doing that same routine for years and years and years. So that I'm stuck part can come in where things like this happen, right? Sometimes they lay you off, believe it or not, right? Sometimes life happens and you have to go in a different direction as far as your career path. So that I'm stuck comes from staying in the same mindset, being locked into the same routine, and then finding out there might be something more out there. What do I do now? Life happened. Which way do I go now? I'm so used to doing this. It's like someone that spends 30 years at a job and then retires and doesn't know what to do because they've been in that routine. So then what? So I really enjoy talking to people about opening the mindset of, because things are changing, And, income evolution is happening where you need to have multiple streams. You need to have a side hustle, if you will. And that's where I really like talking to people, just to open the mind to see what it is that they really want. If we start with why, it really begins to open up that mindset.
I think it's a great place to start because you kind of understand your why, and it's very similar to marketing. When you figure out, like when you kind of break it down, marketing your business is not too different from building your own career path and marketing yourself. And I always tell people when you start marketing your business, either start with your why or start with what you want to accomplish, because then once you understand that, once you start setting goals for yourself, then your path becomes clearer because you kind of understand what direction you're heading. So you've been in business for yourself for over 30 years. You've been doing what in this particular industry, coaching and motivation for about 14 years. What made you decide to do what you do? Well, what is your passion? And again, you and I worked together, and so I've seen videos of you before. I've seen videos prior to you. I've seen you speaking, and you have a presence. So I know you're powerful. This is something that really speaks to you. So where do you find that passion?
When I talk to people and they have the feeling that they can't become more, that their salary defines them, that their job title is what makes them. I really find the drive from working in the corporate world and then really seeing that people really don't know what's out here, what the possibilities are, because they've been locked into this what they call normal routine so long that tunnel vision is pretty much set in. So when you ask someone, hey, what about this, or have you ever thought about this, it's blinders because they're so locked in. And it drives me to know that being we're from Albuquerque, I'm proud to be from Albuquerque. I'm proud of being from New Mexico. The fact that I talk to people and they honestly feel that they can only climb to one level in life, that they can only become what their salary or what their boss is telling them they can become. And I'm telling you, I serve a higher power, and I'm not majorly religious, but Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. And what I encourage people to do is, if you can take the lid off of that, if you believe like you say you believe, then there's nothing that isn't possible for you to achieve. If you actually believe in it, you write a plan about it, you set a goal for it, and then you take action. What is there, what's out there that can't be done? And when you look at the youth today, I don't know, to me, we're not telling them all of their options, right? College, I get it. I've got a degree, I understand. Education, yes, it's important, but you can have a degree that sits on your wall and you still have to learn how to sell yourself to the next job, right? To get the career you want. And if we're not telling them these options, if we're not teaching them about investment opportunities in addition to not just one stream, right? We talk about diversification, but what about diversifying your income? And entrepreneurs, that's what we see. We see the goal, we see the dream, and then in addition to that, we know that we're going to have to do something else to make sure that that dream is successful. And we know how to really, if you will, think outside of the whole box term. It's cliche, but that's what entrepreneurs do. So I really enjoy at least showing people. I consider that part of my mission, is that I just want to show it to you, right? I just want to tell you, now you can choose what to do from here, but at least you know now. And growing up, not all of us knew. Like we didn't know the possibilities of what you could really do with your life. And I really get it. That's where the drive comes from, my friend, is helping people see
That's
that.
great. Well, and that really speaks to what you just said about not knowing your possibilities and not, and that proverbial glass ceiling that you referenced at the beginning of what you were saying there. That it was in large part one of the reasons that I started my business. Beacon Marketing has been in business for almost 3.5 years. I started while my wife was pregnant with our daughter, And one of the reasons is I wanted to show my daughter, I wanted to provide a different opportunity for my daughter, because growing up here in Albuquerque, being Hispanic, one of the things you feel is this kind of glass ceiling. It's almost as if they tell you what not to do, like don't get a girl pregnant too young and don't go to jail. But they don't tell you the opposite side of the spectrum. It's like here's everything that's possible. Like you could go to school and you could do this. It's almost like an abstract. Like go to college, you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, but like it's not really this like, hey, the sky's the limit and let me show you how. It's almost like don't do this and you'll be able to get a good job and support your family. And that's kind of like it. So growing up, I always felt like almost suffocated. And there was this point in my life where I honestly thought I was going to have to leave Albuquerque and leave New Mexico to kind of see a different world. Yeah. And I don't want that for my daughter or for any other kids that we may have. I want them to feel like, hey, if they want to live here in New Mexico, they can have any life that they want. Or if they want to go live in San Francisco, Chicago, or Kentucky somewhere, they could do that. But the sky's the limit. And I think what you're doing is wonderful because you're kind of opening people's eyes and saying, hey, here's the possibility. If you dream it and you set that plan forward, you can make it happen. And I know you do a lot of work with kids because, based on, when we worked together before, I saw some stuff on your website and things that you've done. How does it feel working with kids, particularly high school kids, and helping them, prep themselves for a better future? What do you like about that?
Well, so that target between, let's say, 17 and let's say 35, I can only talk to what I know and the mistakes I've made. So that was the time frame when I started the whole business venture. So when I talk to them, I'm really explaining what I did and then the mistakes I made, so I'm hoping so they don't do the exact same thing, right? Everyone's going to make mistakes. Heck, I still make mistakes. But that target market is when I really started looking at business possibilities, at 18 and 19, really start thinking about it. And then after getting the job with a major corporation and really seeing that, hold on a minute, if the owner of this company could do it, why can't I? Right? And that began to set in. So it's really about my discussion with the youth about their possibilities moving forward because they're growing more and more. Every person with a cell phone, to me, is sitting on $1 million. They just don't know the possibilities that they can do with it. And I don't know them all, but I'm willing to talk to you about it. Let's see what we can do. What can we do with Amazon, with eBay, with all these possibilities instead of Candy Crush, right? I don't know. It just the opportunity is there for people. They are.
That's great. Well, we're going to have to wrap up here soon, so I don't want to keep you too long. What are some of the specific services that you help either people or even groups of people do? So can you let our viewers know a few of the services that you provide?
Sure. So coaching with organizations and individuals. I recently became a certified Y Institute agent. So working with people and groups and organizations, businesses to identify the why. We start with why and then we move to the how and the what. And my why, as I stated before, is actually incorporating my how and my what. So we start there, and then my workshops that I do is incorporating what I like to call a success formula, identifying the why, and then coming in with the how and the what. And then we have to work on association. And then from there, we look at the gifts. I believe everyone has a gift of some sort. And large or small, how can we develop that skill set or that gift, at least identify it so you can begin to write a plan so you can improve on that gift. And then after that, then we start working on what energizes you. So now you'll have an actual action plan that you can utilize and implement immediately. But ultimately, it all starts with discovering your why. And, I've got a link you can go to, mywhydiscovery.com. I'm working with the Y Institute, Dr. Gary and his organization and the group of people that have been mentoring me. We're going out and our goal is to help 1 billion people really discover their why. And that's where we start.
I love it. So, where can people find out more information about you? I know you gave the website, but what other places? I know I could see on the video, yeah, the kjeffect.com, but what other ways can people get in contact with you?
So if people want to email me, they can email me at thekjeffect@gmail.com. You can also submit your contact information at my website, thekjeffect.com. And if you really want to, you can actually, again, go in, discover your why. I will get that information at mywhydiscovery.com. And then we can talk about your how and your what, moving on from there.
I love it. Well, Ken, thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate you sharing what you do, your insights. I think what you do is valuable. A lot of people could be helped by it. Before we go, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience?
You know, I feel very blessed. A lot of this is, it just comes from fear. You know, you can't do everything, but at least find out what you can do. And I just believe if we start looking within ourselves, improving ourselves through books, understanding our capabilities and how we can develop from there, I just believe as a society as a whole, we can grow bigger and faster and understanding each other a lot more. So then we can help each other more. And that's really what I thrive on, I guess. And, you know, from the Bible, Luke 22:32, you know, when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. And that's what the KJ effect is strengthening others. As I try, I fail, I learn, and then I love to teach what I've learned. So that's what I do, man. And I'm proud, excited about the future for all of us. And we just got to go out there and keep failing and keep learning and keep teaching.
Great message. I love what you have to say. I love what you do. And I think right now it's more vital that we have this type of message and people like you out there who are doing this type of work. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. People, I highly recommend calling Ken. I've worked with him before. He's a shot of energy. If you need it, he'll get you motivated, get you going. I love working with him. Ken, thank you once again. Audience, thank you. Stay tuned for more videos. We'll be back. Talk to you later. Bye.